Hi, everyone. We are joined by Nico Ali Walsh, who is getting ready to get back into the ring June 29 on the Teofimo Lopez Steve Claggett show on ESPN in Miami. Nico, this is another step up fight for you against Sona Akale. First fight of 20, I'm sorry, second fight of 2024. What are you looking to prove to yourself this time around?
I'm just looking to fix the mistakes of my past. I've got nothing to prove to anyone but myself. So I'm gonna, fix the mistakes that I made in the first fight. A fight that I feel like I should have won, but that he was awarded the decision. So I've got to make it clearer this time.
Absolutely. Obviously, this is a rematch. The first one was a 6-round majority decision loss for you, the first one of your career.
Yes.
Do you feel the fight was properly scored? Do you feel, looking back at it now, what is your assessment of the fight?
I thought it was. I've watched the fight a million times at this point. I can dream about it, but I thought it was 4-2 in favor of me. I don't think it was correctly scored, but what can we do? It's all part of my journey, so it makes this fight even better.
Right. And you have switched trainers since. You're now with Ismail Salas. How has the new coach and the new voice in your corner been for you?
Yeah, so I've got them. Just the team that I have now is amazing. We've also got Fernando Diaz and Jamie Belt in my corner, and these guys are just perfect with me. We mesh very well. I'm able to learn a ton from them, and I've been with them since right after the first Sona fight, and yeah, no, we've just been making strides since then.
What do you feel that you've needed to improve on? Obviously, you're still up and coming. You still need some seasoning. What do you feel you need to work on the most?
I feel like overall I could get down to boxing terms and talk about a jab or output or this and that, but I think the biggest thing that would make me the ultimate fighter that I strive to become is just being myself. I think being myself, I have a uniqueness about me that every boxer has their own unique abilities, and when you try to copy other people, you take away the uniqueness from yourself. And I'm unique when I'm myself. When I'm myself, I do great, and there have been glimpses of that in my fight. So just being myself, having fun, and enjoying this journey.
Because you are the grandson of the great Muhammad Ali, a lot of people have a lot of opinions about you. A lot of people are overly critical of you
Yes.
because you are developing in the limelight. How has the criticism helped you, and how has it not helped you?
Um, I I see. I'm weird. I take this stuff as a blessing. I think I'm criticized. I'm scrutinized more because they put me in the same light as my grandfather, and I'm like, in my mind, that's insane that you're gonna put me, someone who barely had any amateur experience, someone who's got 11 fights as a pro, you're putting them with the greatest boxer of all time, even though he's my grandfather. Forget about that. But you're putting them in the same light and comparing me to him, saying, "Oh, Nico should do this. Nico should fight like this." It's kind of a blessing that I'm even in the same sentence with him. That's my favorite fighter. If we're not talking about just him being my grandfather, that's my favorite fighter. So I take it as a blessing.
Mm-hmm. And how has the criticism gone a little too far in the scrutiny? Does that weigh you down at all?
It will if I'm insecure about something, and I get scrutinized for that. I'm not really an insecure person, but everyone's got their own little things. Uh, if I'm scrutinized about something I'm insecure about, then it'll hurt my feelings. But I'm not very insecure. So I'd have to think about that. There haven't been a lot of scrutiny, like comments or anything like that, that have really hurt my feelings or have gotten to me. There hasn't been really anything like that yet.
So it's fair to say after, just over 10 fights, you're all in at this point about the promise and potential that you have. You really envision accomplishing major goals for yourself. Is that
Yes,
the thing?
of course, of course. Yeah, no, if I wouldn't make it this far if I wasn't here for the long run. I've been saying that since the pro debut. No one believed me, but I knew I would get to this point, and we've got, this. I'm in my second year, so you look at a normal fighter's career, being maybe 10, 15 years, like that's a long career. I'm at year 2. So what am I going to be able to do in 4 or 5 years is absolutely insane. I'm going to achieve all the goals that I set out to.
What is your ultimate goal?
Being champion. I want to create, I'm following the footsteps of my grandfather, but I want to create my own marks along the way. And I've done that already. I've done things that I feel like my grandfather would be very proud of. I've done things that, everything I've done so far in my pro career, I'm proud of. And that's the most important thing. But there's so much more to do. There's so much to do. And that's what I'm going for, is the belts, the legacy, and just that champion status. Once I reach that pinnacle, I have no idea where I'll go from there.
And for this fight, it's taking place in Miami Beach, which is obviously a very
Yes.
famed location for your grandfather.
Yeah.
Have you had a chance ever to check out the Fifth Street Gym?
Never. I've never really been in Miami. I stopped by Miami one time, but it was like kind of like almost like a layover situation. I've never spent time in Miami. So I would love, I think we've got some stuff set up with that. My grandfather fought Liston in Miami. So we've got some awesome stuff that I can do just before my fight on the 29th.
Oh wow, it's never even been to Miami, so this is going to be a incredible.
No, this will be amazing. This will be amazing. Boxing has changed my life. Boxing has brought me to places that, of course, boxing's great, and I'm doing this for the career of boxing, but boxing's brought my family together. My family comes to every single one of my fights. My boxing career has brought me to places that I would have gone to see stuff my grandfather has done. Just right off the top of my head, my second fight was in Atlanta, where my grandfather lit the Olympic torch. I've always wanted to go there, and boxing brought me there. I've always wanted to go to the Fifth Street Gym. Boxing's about to bring me there. So, this is exciting, the path that I'm on.
As you've, fully invested yourself into the sport, and what are some of the memories and experiences you have with your grandfather that still live with you to this day and help you in your path and trajectory?
Well, he was my biggest fan when it came to my boxing career. We would watch all my stuff. I would watch all his stuff. And he just really pushed me to pursue my boxing career. If I could have dreamt of, my grandfather was a dreamer. My mom's a dreamer. Just my family are I have a family of dreamers, people who dream big. And if I could dream the biggest thing imaginable, it would be following doing what I'm doing now. So I'm living the dream now, and I think about him all the time. Of course, I get reminded about him all the time because it's boxing. But yeah, no, it's exciting.
At this stage, have you seen all of his fights?
I want to say I have, but there's got to be some fights. There's got to be some that aren't, like, there's no footage of. There's got to be some, but I've seen a majority of them. Absolutely.
Which one's your favorite?
My favorite, because I used to watch with him, was the Zaire fight, the George Foreman fight. Of course, I love the trilogy with Joe Frazier. All his fights I really loved. All his fights I really loved, but my number one is the George Foreman fight.
Of course,
Rumble in the Jungle.
of course, that was a big one. And of course, Muhammad Ali, known for some of the greatest quotes of all time. Which
That's
is
right.
the quote that you live by? That is one of his famous sayings. I see you got the butterfly on the chest, but
yeah, no, this is my logo. I've got the butterfly, obviously, is the family thing from my grandfather. And then on the crown's got NAW, which is Nico Ali Walsh, my initials. So my grandfather, one of my favorite quotes from my grandfather is something along the lines of, "He who has no imagination has no wings." I love that quote.
mhm. Let's apply that quote to you. In your biggest imagination, when your career is said and done, what is going to be that opening paragraph for your career? Would that or the opening sentence for your career that describes
The opening line will be, he did it. Because no one believed, I mean, the amount of pressure that I'm under for someone who's 23, 11 fights, I'm under an incredible amount of scrutiny and pressure, and a lot of people don't believe I can do it. I've proved a lot of people wrong so far, just being where I'm at now. So after I accomplish everything, I'll be able to say, or they will be able to say, he did it.
Mm-hmm. And with the weight you're at right now, obviously a middleweight, how far do you see yourself moving up eventually in your career?
It's tough to say because I am still growing. I find like I'm 23, so I don't know how my body is going to grow. I would love to go up in weight. It's easier to go up in weight than it is to go down. So I'd like to see where I end up at. I won't be staying at middleweight for the rest of my life or for the rest of my boxing career. That's for sure.
Do you think your storybook ends with the fight at heavyweight?
That would be very interesting. I'd be an incredibly small heavyweight. I mean, I don't know if I'd be getting any tall. I'm 6 foot right now. I don't know if I'd be getting much taller. I don't know if it'll end. We'll see. I mean, there's nothing's impossible, and I truly believe that nothing is impossible. So we'll see.
Absolutely. And going back to your fight, June 29, against Sona Akale. I'm sure you want to leave this off the scorecards. Are you going for a knockout in this one?
I think it's bad luck to say you're going for a knockout, so I'm not going to say that. But this is not my first rematch, and I believe that this fight will be similar to the way my first rematch went. So that I could